life, so don't sign that paper tonight. Oh, hey, what's up? Good evening. You're listening to another episode of Taking the Over with Billy Gunn. I am your host, Billy Gunn, joined as always by my co-host T, the T-Man Among Boys, on this, the official sports wagering podcast of Boot Crew Media. And as we get started tonight, got some huge, exciting news. Taking the Over is now sponsored by Draftkings. Man, when I first started this podcast, I was like, I'll know that I've made it when I get sponsored by the greatest gambling app out there. And it's happened, T. Here we are. But I am obligated to tell you that 2 titles are up for grabs on the stacked UFC 273 card. Join the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. New customers can bet $5 on any fighter and get $100 in free bets, win or lose, guaranteed. You get that? Like a lot of gambling apps have promotions for new customers. If you do not yet have DraftKings, this is what you got to do. This is what you have to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code BOOT, B-O-O-T. Throw $5 on UFC 273 and get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code BOOT, B-O-O-T, this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Now, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Wyoming, 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado and New Hampshire, 888-789-777 for T in Connecticut, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-877-770-STOP for all of our degenerates in Louisiana, 8778-HOPE-NY for New York. Visit opgr.org. In Oregon, call or text TN Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee or 1-888-532-3500 in Virginia. Fellas, if you don't already have, if you're a new customer to DraftKings, this is the kind of promotion you look for. You just use Boot. You bet $5. Doesn't matter who wins, doesn't matter who loses. And you're going to get 100 no matter what. It's free fucking money, man. Why would you not do that? If you don't have DraftKings already, new customers, go do that. This is $100 free money. That's it. Very excited for the show tonight. We have not one but 2 guests joining us tonight. Our first guest is a very good friend of mine. He is the host of the BS and Beer Saints podcast. He has over 10 years covering the Saints, both in legacy media and beyond. You know, it's funny. When I used to listen to like WWL, they always used to bring in Mike Detillier as the Saints draft analyst, right? And like Mike Detillier was famous not just for being a draft analyst, but he also owned the gas station in La Rose, right? The outstanding draft analyst also owns a gas station in La Rose. My boy here, my good friend, last time I saw him, we were hanging out at the Wild Beaver Saloon in Nashville. The last time I saw him in person, he doesn't own a gas station, La Rose. He has a weed farm in Michigan. So much cooler than Mike Detillier. We're so excited to have him with us here tonight. Dave Romero, what's up, brother?
Man,
welcome to Taking the Over.
I appreciate you having
Taking
me.
the Over.
I don't know how to take that intro. I mean, first of all, I know Mike D gets a lot of respect around New Orleans and stuff. I don't know how I feel about being compared to him, but weed business, gas station. Listen, both successful entrepreneurs. So I'll take it.
Speaking of weed, but there's no way I was going to get through that DraftKings read.
Yes.
If I was stoned.
Yes.
So I had to do that first.
Well, and now you're going to commence. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah. Kitty's hanging out. Kitty knows what's up, bro. Kitty heard the clink, clink, clink.
You're always much more creative, based on my experience. So I support you and the way you do business, man.
Doctor's orders, man. T, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. I think we're moving out of the dead time where there's not a lot of sports on. We got through March Madness. We survived, still breathing. Did pretty well, I think, as a collective. And then getting ready for baseball opening day tomorrow. Right into hockey and NBA playoffs with our Pelicans in the play-in game, which is exciting. Breaking news, some would say.
Breaking news.
I'm getting a little juiced up, getting ready to go on vacation, and then come back refreshed and ready to gamble like no other.
Oh, that's right. And you're going to one of those states where you can't gamble. So you were lamenting to me the other day you have to make all your bets at like the airport right before you get on the plane. I've been there. It's tough. Like
JFK's Wi-Fi better be up to snuff, or we're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, you're crossing state lines. You got to know where you're at. You know what I mean? It's complicated. It's difficult, Dave. It's difficult being degenerate gamblers like we are. You got to manage that with travel and what state you're in and geo fencing and all that. So, no. It is. We've got the good stuff coming up soon. There's a couple things on the horizon that I'm very excited to bet about. First, of course, is the Masters, and we'll actually not first. We're gonna get to the Masters later, but I always like to bet on the NFL draft, and I'm a huge fan of betting on the NFL draft. Not many people even realize that you can bet on the NFL draft, but you can, and there's some fun bets out there and some opportunities to make some money. And we're going to get into that tonight with our special draft analyst, Dave Romero of BS and Beer Saints podcast. Dave, more than anything, you're one of the most respected voices on the Saints out there in podcast land. I've said it before. I enjoy listening to your show so much. I get a lot out of it. Dude, what do you think is going on? I've been listening to your show lately. You've been talking about a changing of philosophy, a changing of the guard, the Saints' new approach. I'm assuming that means like we're gonna try to find ourselves in a place where we don't have 25% of our cap dedicated to dead money year in, year out. So that's going to require a little belt tightening, I would imagine, on the front end. And what better belt tightening mechanism than to go out and get great talent in the first round of the NFL draft? And it looks like our Saints are angling to do just that.
I got to tell you, man, probably the last time I did a podcast and expressed how I felt, I kind of went on this solo rant about what I thought the Saints' best option for the offseason was. And they have a huge hole at left tackle. And okay, and that's arguable. They have people on the roster who are solid. But when you're talking about left tackle, that's kind of like saying, well, we got a decent quarterback. No, you either got a great quarterback or you're looking for a great quarterback. And I think it's the same at left tackle. Then we have obvious needs at the skill position as far as wide receiver goes. But, man, if you look on the other side of the ball, we lost Williams. We lost a wily, strong safety. And we've replaced them with some guys, but having said that, I think that there's an opening there that you could draft a guy in the secondary at safety. I think it's arguable if you're building for the future that you might even think about replacing Davis, not this year, but in the future with a young guy. And there's some talented guys will be there. Now, what blew all this up was the Saints go and trade and end up with 2 first-round draft picks and no first-round draft pick next year. Okay, what does all that mean? I don't know. But let me tell you some ideas, okay? The idea that you don't have a first-round draft pick next year, that means that the idea of getting a quarterback next year, which was kind of my idea, is because there's not really a quarterback, or quarterbacks are just surefire things this year. So, but here's the thing, the Saints don't have a first-round draft pick next year. They have Jameis Winston on a contract for 2 years, so you're thinking, man, he plays this year, he's a bridge next year, your new rookie, but that went out the window. So as you mentioned, the Saints have talked about tightening up and getting the cap under control. So yes, they're not going to re-sign high-priced or sign high-priced free agents. They go out and draft some guys. Great, I see that. Now all of a sudden I start wondering, what is their plan? Could they be positioning themselves to draft one of the quarterbacks that perhaps we don't see the reasoning, but they see a guy that they really like and think they need the ammunition to get it? So the answer to that question, Mr. Gunn, is I don't know. It's very confusing, and they can go in so many different directions. Do they use those 2 first-round picks to get a receiver and a tackle and a second round pick to maybe get a safety and really solidify all the holes and go with Jameis Winston? Or are they saying, man, we got to make a move and get a quarterback now? Who knows what direction they're going? And there's been some indicators, but I guess that's what we're here for, to start trying to, sort through it and figure out what's going on.
God damn it. You said you don't know. We should have brought in Mike Detillier.
Brought in someone who knows.
We
So
should have
I'll
brought
tell
in
you what, you
Detillier.
go and talk a little bit and I'll come to a conclusion and be very assertive in my opinion next time.
Oh,
We should have-
let's
we
form
should have
two
brought in
sides and
Detillier.
debate, and he could be the judge.
Yeah. I'm very reasonable.
Yeah. I don't think, I mean, gosh, it's so hard about talking about the Saints as you've got your heart and your brain, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't think that we need to draft a quarterback in the first round, because I don't think that there's really all that exceptional of talent in this year's quarterback draft. You alluded to, you think there's some better quarterback prospects coming out next year. I don't think we should. I mean, if you went, okay, now we got these two picks, within 3 picks of each other, is it 16 and 19, 15 and 18, something like that?
It's 16 and 19. That's right.
16 and 19. Okay. Receiver, left tackle, right?
Yep. That's the obvious thing. But tell me the last time that we sat in a draft, we said, well,
The Saints did
it's
the obvious
obvious that we need, and the Saints picked that position.
It's going to be like defensive lineman out of Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah,
right?
they're going to
It's
find the
like-
most obscure college they can find on the map and draft someone there.
Yeah.
It's like we had this Conference USA guy on our radar the whole time, but
gonna be
we
some
wanted to make
strong
sure we
safety
got him. Right.
to replace
Well, no.
Malcolm Jenkins.
There is that badass safety. I mean, there's a generational talent safety in the draft this year. I don't think he makes it to 16 or 19.
I don't think so either, but he has been slipping. At the combine, he didn't run as well. The numbers, the RAS score wasn't as high as everybody expected it to be. Having said that, what he put on film is undeniable. I mean, the guy is a top-notch talent, but there is a world where, man, he slips to 12, because that's the other thing. You have the ammunition, man. He slips to 12, and all of a sudden you say, man, we got to make a move, go get this guy.
Oh, you think they package both of them to go to?
Well,
God.
I'm not saying I want
Oh.
them to do that. I'm making the point that this is now an option. And okay, we can look at it as a negative thing, or we can look at it as a positive thing. The Saints have now put themselves in a position where they can make a move. They have the ammunition. They still have their second round pick. They have a third round pick. If they see a guy they like, and let me tell you, this situation where they went and grabbed an additional first round. I mean, most teams don't do that till draft day. You don't make a move
Right.
until you know your guys there. That's
they did
why
that
I'm just
way out. Yeah, it's weird. As well as an interestingly timed move.
there has to be a plan. I mean, listen, the Saints are not stupid. And I know a lot of people want to criticize things because it makes them feel smarter. And I'm just not one of those guys. They obviously have a plan. I just don't understand it, because when you make this type of move this early, okay, you're saying, hey, man, we got the 16th pick now. The only thing that I see that makes sense is they look at the board and they say, hey, there are 5 guys at this position, and we believe that any one of them can make us better. We're going to get one of those guys, so that's a good move. At receiver, it's very deep. We got 7 guys that we think we can get. And this all, again, hypothetical. That's the only thing that makes sense, because why do you make a move? What if your guy's not there? Then you just traded all this capital in the future and for whatever's available at the time you pick, and it's not your guy.
Well, receiver would be a position where there's rumored to be 6 guys going in the first round. In fact, one of the bets that jumped off the page to me, bets you can make on the NFL draft, is over under 5.5 receivers in the first round. So they're basically, and over 5.5, meaning 6 or more, is the favorite. It's like a T. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's like a minus 120, minus 130, something like that. And the under 5.5 receivers, meaning 5 or less, is like plus 110, plus. I think I got it plus 120 on DraftKings. And dude, I mean that kind of explains one of the picks, correct?
In a world where you're just saying, hey, let's pick to fill holes that are obvious needs, yes. To me, it's a tackle. To me, it's a wide receiver. Done deal. Having said that, I have enough experience dealing with the Saints, and not just the Saints. Let me be fair. Any team, this is just generally what you think is going to happen. Now, let me back up a little bit. This is no longer the Sean Payton Saints. Okay.
Right.
People are like, oh, the Saints don't trade down. And I'm like, yeah, Sean Payton didn't trade down. The Sean Payton Saints didn't trade down. If it makes sense, there's a different regime. There could be a different mindset. Dennis Allen's already pointed out that he wants to carve his own path. And he might say, hey, man, I see more value in the mid-20s, and I can pick up an additional second round or third round pick. He moves and does it, man. But as far as your bet, I see, and I was about to say surefire, but you got Drake London. You have Wilson out of Ohio State.
Right.
You have Jameis Will.
Go ahead and State Ohio State. You got Olave. Well, so you got three.
Yeah,
we got
Olave.
London,
Yes, but now
Wilson, Olave.
Williams was injured. Now, he's young. Guys are coming back from these kind of injuries.
He's the sexiest one, but he's
Yes,
coming off a
but
late
do
season
you?
ACL.
Top 10 talent, talent. But do you pull the trigger in the first round? I've seen guys do it. Remember the linebacker out of Notre Dame a couple of years ago? I think he went to Dallas, man. They picked him in the first round. It is Dallas. They don't always make the best decisions. But
Right.
and then you mentioned, I always say Olive, but what is it, Levy?
Olave?
Yes. And there's another guy that's first round. Then you got Treylon Burks. He's a guy I love, and we thought that he would be, man, I want that guy. He ran a little slow at the combine. And now he's more of a, hey, it's not a bad thing, kind of a Michael Thomas type reception guy, strong. You're not going to beat him in the intermediate game, but doesn't have that speed that they thought he'd have. Then you get into the next level of guys. This is where I wouldn't necessarily project guys in the first, but outstanding second round values. So that number right there is like, God, if one more guy sneaks into the first, you're winning the bet. They hit the number, in my opinion, they put the number right where it needs to be.
T, what's your thoughts? I mean, plus 120, under 5.5. I think it's a negative money bet taking the over on how many receivers. But it only takes, my thought is, and I'll shut the fuck up. My thought is, it only takes one team to be like, nah, we're gonna grab a running back instead. Like we're gonna be the only team that takes a running back in the first round this year.
Spot on.
We're gonna be the only team. Nobody really had this guy. I mean, maybe because we're going to go ahead and take this quarterback here out of Cincinnati, wherever. T, go ahead.
I think you're spot on, and I think Dave makes a really good point in that the number is set really strongly, right? So 5.5, it's going to be 5 or it's going to be 6 realistically. So when you have a bet like that where it's more or less a coin toss, I lean on the plus money odds on that. If it only takes, because it's really, we have no idea. It's going to be, of course, it's going to be a late in the first round. They go receiver or they don't. So when you have one of those kind of bets, I like taking the plus money on it because there really isn't a rhyme or reason to, in my opinion, one being any stronger than the other. Of course, one set is a favorite, but that doesn't really tell me anything.
But is that not a fun bet to watch unfold?
Right. So
you want to talk about sweat? You want to talk
other than receiver.
Dave, we don't really care so much about winning money sometimes as just having fun with our bets. So when you bet over under 5.5 wide receivers in the first round, that's going to come down to the end.
Oh yeah, man.
If they take 6 receivers by pick 23, I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to get your money's worth on this one.
We've already talked about it. I'm not a huge gambler, but that's when I do gamble. When I just like, man, I'm bored. I just want to put 20 on the game to just have some reason to root for it. If a buddy says, hey, man, come with me to this game that I have no real interest in, I always put some change on it just to make it interesting, have something to pull for. But having said that, number is right there. I personally, you said 5.5.
It's 5.5.
I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under because
that's the plus money bet. That's the underdog. That's not the favorite.
See, I didn't want to ask. I literally was like, wait, what does that mean? But I don't want to irritate your listeners.
It means that the under is actually the favorite.
They're yelling.
If you bet $100, you go buy a ticket for $100. That under 5 or less receivers are getting drafted in the first round. When you bring that ticket back up to the counter, they hand you $220.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't want to say it and have your listeners yelling at their radio like, "What is this idiot talking about?"
Brother, we have people at all entry points, and a lot of, you'd be surprised at how many guests on this show know nothing about gambling. It's just it's one of the things we do,
including the 2 hosts.
Yeah, like really, we're just like we're like shamans. We're trying to help you have a good time.
It's
I'm not gonna.
working.
We're not touts.
It's working.
We're content.
I think y'all need to make one of those infomercials where you just kind of shouting into the mic and you like, I have your number
Did
for the
you hear the
weekend's
intro?
games.
Did you hear the intro for the show?
Dave, it was smooth, man. I
You
gotta
think
tell
this
you,
is not an
it's
infomercial?
refined. It's
Look below you,
refined.
sir.
Oh my God. We just did a commercial for hose water. I mean, it's our own brand. We're trying to market and make some money off of it. It's not going so well. But hey, you never know, it could hit at any moment.
Dave, you want me to give you some advice? You might already know this. I'm gonna hit you with some advice. If you're gonna sell out, an important part of selling out is getting paid.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I mean, we took it to the next level.
Right.
Hose water is our own product that we manufacture and bottle right here. And it's the only sports drink you can get out of the faucet in your backyard, bro. It's guaranteed.
That's kind of my early athletic career was based off of hose water.
That's what I'm saying. We thrown it back. The tough guys used it, and if you want to be tough, hose water is the drink for you.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah, man.
I'm
just saying, listen, there's no middleman. We keep our prices low.
No, that sounds great, man.
We have bulk
you just gotta get some plastic, right?
Yeah, man.
You gotta get some stamps.
Shoot.
Stamps and plastic, man. You're good to
go. I got it all figured out, man. I got it all
smart.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking to a fucking weed farm owner. What do I know? I told Dave to make sure he gets paid. Like I'm a fucking asshole.
Dave, man, I think we just need to sit back, man, smoke a little bit, and come up with some more genius ideas like hose water, man. It's a money maker.
Hose water is. I'm all in. I see the visual identity already. I've already got the read in my head.
Yeah, man.
T, I think we should switch over to talk about quarterbacks for a minute. I'll start with you. I mean, I see no reason for the Saints to draft a quarterback in the first round, personally. I'm very comfortable with Jameis's 2-year contract. And I personally am of the belief that should he stay healthy, Jameis is the answer next year and beyond. I really feel that way. I don't think we should be out hunting for a quarterback this year or next year. I think we've got a 28-year-old Jameis that, as long as he stays healthy, I think he'll do everything we need him to. I think he's going to really flourish. I really do. What's your thoughts on quarterback in this draft and the Saints and how the
I don't want them. I don't think there's the only guy that quote unquote experts are saying is like NFL ready is what, Kenny Pickett, and that's the guy who he said had the toughest interview, I believe, was the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you want with that information. I don't know if there's a connection there or not. I don't love any of the quarterbacks. None to me, like there's nothing that shoots off the board like you have to get this guy. The only one that's interesting to me is Matt Corral out of Ole Miss because of his unique skill set and because of his big arm. That's the only like distinguishing player that I feel would be worth a flyer on, because it's something you really can't get in any of the other guys or any other guys in recent years or in the future. So it's not just like your prototypical pro quarterback. I guess Trevor Lawrence is an example, something like that. It's a unique skill set that you probably can't get at a different time. So that would be the only quarterback I consider a flyer on. Otherwise,
and he's late. No. They're projecting him late first round, maybe second. And Dave, I want to tell you this. I don't know if you saw the news. Like, yeah, he projects out physically, this and that, Matt Corral, and I've really enjoyed watching him play under Kiffin at Ole Miss. Like, I've affirmed my Ole Miss fandom watching those guys play last year. They said he's been like, and it's so funny how they publish stuff in the main media about like draft prospects, but they use like their coded language to say that Matt Corral like is a fucking lunatic. like it's like one quote in this athletic article I read, and they're like anonymous coaches and scouts and shit. They're like, he's supposed to lead a team of like grown men with families and children and shit. And I don't think he can do that.
All right. So I'm not a huge fan of any of them. So like I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm like, okay, let me check out the spin. Okay, the guy that I'm hearing a little bit of chatter about, and then I start doing some research. I start looking at some video, and Desmond Ridder. And then I start thinking, maybe, and then the accuracy issues, and I'm like, he already has great fundamentals and good footwork, and I don't know how much that's going to improve. I've heard other people say this, people I respect, like actual evaluators who've been doing it for a long time, and it's so then you have Malik Willis, small school guy, all the athletic talent, but those guys scare the hell out of me. He could come in there and develop into the next multi-purpose quarterback, or he could just end up never being very good quarterback. So I'm just scared to death of all of them. None of them do anything for me. Kenny Pickett has what I would consider the most complete package, but even he has so many holes in his game. It's just none of them make me say, God, if we get him, our problems are solved. And so then go ahead.
I believe that Kenny Pickett's going to be the first quarter. I don't think we're going to have a shot at Kenny Pickett. That we don't have a worry about Kenny Pickett coming to the Saints. I believe that Kenny Pickett's going to be the first quarterback drafted. Because, like, from a gambling standpoint, the other bet that I'm excited about is quarterback drafted. Who, when Kenny Pickett, and in a few mocks I've looked at and everything else, it seems to me it makes a lot of sense for Kenny Pickett to go to Carolina at pick 8. Right. And I think a lot of people are acknowledging that Carolina is probably going to take a quarterback there. And it comes down to, is it going to be, Malik, or is it going to be Kenny? And I feel like there's an interesting piece of knowledge that Kenny committed to Temple back when Matt Rule was the head coach at Temple before he left for Baylor. And there's a connection there. And Matt Rule is in a fight or flight situation next year. Win or get fired. Right? He bought himself a year by trashing Brady, but you throw Brady, put it all on Brady. Whatever. Maybe it was Brady, but Matt Rule doesn't seem to be too bright. For Carolina,
he's gonna fuck it up.
He's gonna fuck it up. But God, I mean, like, if I'm like, dude, I gotta win this year, I'm taking the guy that's like, the most finished product, best arm, surest thing. I don't have time for a 2-year project. I gotta get, and he's going Kenny Pickett at 8.
Okay, so Dave, let's put it this way: if you're already on your last leg, there's probably not a rookie out there that is going to save you. And I don't mean even in a good draft year, your best rookies generally aren't, coach savers. Having said that, maybe you draft them, you do well, everybody's excited, then you get another year. I do agree with that. Having said that, boy, I'm looking at all these teams. You talking about if someone's going to pick him, Carolina, you have the Jets. The Jets have a guy. I'm sure they can still give. But you have the Texans. You have Detroit. There's guys ahead of them, and I don't know, man. I just don't know if there's a guy on here that if I'm the head coach that I'm just giving him the opportunity to save my job. I just don't see it.
I pray. Well, Carolina. What else do they have?
That's the big thing. What's the other option?
Yeah, these stupid motherfuckers. These stupid motherfuckers have put all their eggs in the basket of drafting the savior, and this year at number 8, and they're fucking stupid.
So his best option at this point is updating his resume. Is pretty much the.
I would think so. Yeah. You go get a job somewhere else soon. He's Matt Rule. You know what I mean? He had success in college.
And is he related to Jai? Because maybe he can get him a job. With Entourage or something.
I say Ja Rule's an entrepreneur. He'd come up with he's got shit better than hose water.
That Rule's Firefest.
You had to come at me like that, man. Why? Right. I don't know, man.
Brother, dude, I know we're out of time with you. Your wife's got you on a short leash over there. She's a beautiful woman. It was very awesome to meet you and her last year in Nashville. We got to get together again soon.
It was a great time, man, and thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy talking football with you guys, man.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks,
we'll be in touch,
Take
man.
care.
I'll check with you later.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dave.
Take care.
All right, bye. Our next guest comes to us from Boot Crew Media, the golf podcast of Boot Crew Media, Beers at the Turn. Jacob, I could not be more excited for you to join us this week.
Oh man, thank y'all for having me. Longtime listener, first time guest. let's get into it, man. It's the happiest week of the year.
It is the happiest week of the year. And before I talk about the happiest week of the year, let me tell you real quick about DraftKings, Sportsbook, and baseball. We got golf this weekend, and we're about to talk about golf. Baseball is hot on the heels of the Masters. And baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still take a swing at stacks of green with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Baseball Contest. New customers can play here for thousands of dollars in prizes with their first deposit. Pick a lineup of 2 pitchers and 8 batters while staying under the salary cap and rack up points for hits, runs, strikeouts, and more. DraftKings is a safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. You use promo code BOOT. Bet just $5 and win $200 in free bets if your team wins their game. That's promo code BOOT, B-O-O-T, at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 plus restrictions apply. MLB trademarks are used with permission. See show notes for more details. And, of course, we read all of the disclaimers on the original early DraftKings read, which means we have more time for my good brother from Beers at the Turn to talk about the Masters. Dude, I'm so excited to bet on the Masters. I love betting on the Masters. Nothing makes me more. I'm already a fan of betting on golf to begin with. I'll bet on golf all the time.
Absolutely.
So listening to you guys, like y'all put me on Kevin Kisner in that crazy match play event. Oh, dude. That was the most prolonged, awesome gambling fun. It's like your Kisner bet was like gambling Viagra.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I was hard all weekend.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great.
You can hang wet towels from my shit. It was
Dude.
incredible. It was incredible. But I mean, at the end of the day, Kevin Kisner, match play is made for him. That's just a format that he excels at. I took a shot in the dark. You know, he's a past winner. Field really overall wasn't playing that well, so I thought if there was any tournament he could make a run at, it was going to be that one.
Well, he fucking did. And it's funny because it triggered a very interesting conversation that's happened amongst like listeners of the show and friends of mine. And like this shit just it's a new reality using these apps like DraftKings is they have that feature where you can like cash out a crazy ass long shot bet like that. And so like on y'all's advice, I think I got him at like plus 5,000 on DraftKings. Right. And then I had a buddy of mine kind of jumped on, our listener and another friend jumped on like pretty shortly thereafter, and they got him somewhere pretty high too. I think it was 5,000 or above because it got to a point where he's like, you know, I've placed a $2 bet and I can cash out for like $52 right now.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, what do I do? And I was like, man, you bet on this guy to fucking win. You bet on him to win. Let him win.
Yeah.
Let him do what you bet on him to do.
And then 30 minutes later,
I was going, sell.
I was the same way. When he made it to the semifinals, I was like, all right, we're gonna let this ride. And then he made it to the finals, and we were getting these buyouts. And I think I didn't put an astronomical amount. I think I put like $10 on him to win like 720. And they were offering me like 250. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I bet 10, but just the competitor in me, I'm like, no, fuck you. Like
it's a whole dynamic. It's a new dynamic of gambling that we've never had to deal with before these apps.
I know.
Is right? Like, you know, like my old private bookie wouldn't like call me at fucking 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon and be like, hey son, how you doing? You want to cash in that? You want to make a deal on that Kisner bet? You know what I mean? Like that shit's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
But I admire DraftKings for doing that. So, but it presents a new dilemma to fucking fans of gambling, and I understand it from the book's end. It's a hedge on their end. Why would they not hedge? They've done the math. They've got more than 1 or 2 analysts and more than 3 or 4 spreadsheets, right?
Oh yeah.
John Q. Gambler, it's such a fucking dilemma. I respect that you said let it ride because you bet on him to win.
Right. And the thing about betting is, and I'm sure my wife would appreciate this too. I'm not in a weekend, I'm not blowing $100, $200, anything like that. I'm taking the odds and I'm taking gut reactions and who can perform better at the golf course. So in that Kevin Kisner bet, it's like, yeah, they were offering me 220, but it's not like I mortgaged my fucking house.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like if I lose $10, I lose that. I spent $10 on stupider shit.
That's pretty much
So,
the thesis.
it's your
That's
cost
the
of
thesis of the
entertainment.
show. That's the
Right.
thesis of taking the over.
Exactly.
And what's crazy is I don't want to. You could spread around several hundred the way that you do probably, and you'd be amazed consistently that it's $20 up or $20 down like every weekend. It's not. It's like it's math, dude. And if you're smart, you're not gonna lose your ass off. And it's like it's like bowling with bumpers, right, T?
Yeah, controlled fun to an extent. But it's the cash outs are getting like ridiculous too. They're quick. Like basketball, the game will be 1 quarter in, and it's like you want to cash out this $10 bet for $11.50. Like no, I want to let this ride.
Right, exactly. It's just like at that point, who cares?
I mean, do y'all see
golf's
it?
a little different though.
Yeah, golf's much longer.
Yeah,
I've paid attention a lot to like before the event starts. So like you place it, but before the event starts, between when you place and before the event starts, they offer you a cash out. And sometimes it'll be a little bit less. It's like they're taking closing line value into account.
Right.
But they're not offering you upside when the closing line value goes to your favor. If it's a $10 bet, they're going to keep it at $10 pre-match.
Oh yeah.
Just based on line movement, and that's usually a gambler's advantage called closing line value. So if like I accidentally place the bet and then the line starts to move and I get a $9.38 return on a $10 bet pre-match for cashing it in, they're going to just collect morons like that by the millions or at least hundreds of thousands. I don't know. It just seems like the whole mechanism makes sense on their part from a risk standpoint.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Well, let's talk about golf. Let's talk about the Masters.
Let's do it, baby.
I listened to y'all this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know where I don't remember exactly where everybody went, but I do remember some broad strokes. And I want to highlight my good co-host here for a moment. He shared his Masters picks with me this morning, completely without my influence, I believe. Like I haven't told him. I know he's not a consistent golf watcher like I am, or a golf wagerer, but he made some pretty good reads, and he inspired me with his love for Cameron Smith.
Okay. I'll preface the love for Cameron Smith that I got that tip from a little birdie who may or may not be a podcast at Book Room Media.
Okay. Was that me? I might have influenced him then. I'm sorry. Well, yeah.
It wasn't you.
Or was it? Oh, was it? Oh, no. You're talking about Jacob.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Well,
dude, y'all said Cameron Smith. I went, and I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, I haven't bet on Cameron Smith yet. Let me go ahead and what? DraftKings is going to give me a little boost. By the way, shout out to DraftKings. Use code BOOT.
Absolutely.
The reason why they're my favorite, and this is fuck, Jace. I didn't mean to do this big range during the show. I'm excited that DraftKings sponsored us and sponsored Boot Crew Media because they're my favorite. They're my favorite book.
You know what?
It makes this easy for me. It makes this easier for me.
It does. And I was on Barstool before, and I got off of Barstool when we got the sponsorship by DraftKings. And the more that I played around with it, the prop bets are so much better. It's an overall just better betting experience, especially for golf. You could pick round 1 leaders, round 2 leaders. Yeah. Who's going to lead in greens regulation? Who's going to? I mean, it's endless. It really is. But the only reason that I'm sticking with Barstool for the moment, I'm not deleting the app, is because I did pick 3 major winners: Cam Smith, Sam Burns, and Tony Finau. Right. Yeah, and if those hit,
I think when we take that in front of, were you ever in a fraternity in college like I was?
No, I wasn't smart enough to go to a 4-year college. I'm a community college
See,
guy.
in fraternity, they take you in front of the standards board. When we take you in front of the standards board of Boot Crew Media, I think we'll excuse your
Hey, I'm
futures,
still
your
on
barstool
it.
futures.
I'm still on it, man. I'm still on the DraftKings. I got the app. I was looking at it today.
What I was gonna say, is this is what we live for, right? This is our thing. And when it happened in Louisiana, it was like this huge explosion of gambling and apps. And my advice every step of the way was like download, like when it first launched, get all of them, take advantage of all of the promos. And a lot of listeners did that, and I did that. And we made a lot of money,
Oh yeah.
And had fun, and it was great. And what like as I narrowed down to like 3 apps, and as I kept using the apps, like I found myself actually playing and enjoying and putting money into and taking money out of DraftKings, like just naturally. That'd be my go-to.
Yeah, like I said,
it's cool
just
that we
the
got
overall
it's cool.
experience is better.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool they picked us. Cam Smith, man, I got him to win, and that's my long shot crazy win bet. I'm a fan of him. I was there the year I was at last year. He won fucking in New Orleans.
Zurich.
Yep. I was there on Sunday. It was a lot of fun. Dude, are you going to Zurich this year? Obviously, stupid question. You are, right?
The bear shit in the woods? Of course I can.
Can I go with y'all one of the days? Can we
Absolutely.
be friends?
Can we make that already happen? Friends.
Okay.
My son's going to start calling
Sunday. Is Sunday too much to ask?
No, not at all. I'm going to be there. Why not?
You gonna fly down for this?
Yeah, depending on date, I got no problem with it.
Okay. By the way, T's up in Connecticut, but that's of no matter. He's got a fucking jet.
Good for you.
He's a pilot's license. He's got a pilot's pilot training license.
I'll land right on the 17th green. See you guys on Sunday.
Well, see what our bets are before you do that, because if our bets aren't winning, we might have you do that. Shift in momentum.
Yeah. Dude, on the Masters, I took Cam Smith outright to win. I got him at plus 400, and then DraftKings had a cool like opt-in promo once you're already in the app that said like any outright winner we'll add plus 300 to it. So I got him from 1,400 to 1,700 to win. And I'm pretty excited about that. But like, and I guess he truly would be I believe that he probably has the best chance to win. If I'm putting money anywhere, I'm putting it on him. You can't really give a better testimonial than that. I have thoughts on a lot of other guys in the field. I placed a lot of other bets, but really the story of the week is Tiger. This is Tiger Woods show right now. And
it is.
I saw the still images today of him teeing off during the practice round in the galleries. And man, it's a ride. I bet on him, was it last year before last, when he came out round 1 hot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this could be so amazing. And I love Tiger, man. That when he came back and won the Masters, I cried that afternoon.
Oh, me too.
That was an amazing afternoon. I worked at a golf club in high school. I was a cart boy, and like kind of hung out in the clubhouse and the bar and the restaurant and the club shop and the cart barn during the rise of Tiger Woods, like 95, 96, 97. Insanity, dude.
It really was. We mentioned this on the pod the other night. I don't know about y'all, but I got into this game. I got into it probably a little bit later than everybody else. I got it when I was 19, but I got into this game because of Tiger Woods. Everyone my age got into this game because of Tiger Woods. I don't know one person who shows up to the clubhouse and he's just like, oh, I started playing, because Jack Nicklaus is my favorite golfer, and they're under the age of 75. Like,
dude, can you imagine what those 19th holes were like when he's coming up? Like, it's crazy, dude. There's people that are excited and awesome, and then you got like old racists and shit. Like, it's just all over the place. But he was and the Masters was his coming out party. 97, like unbelievable what he did. And I was a fan. I remember like watching him in high school, like end of high school, college, Tiger Woods video games start coming out. Those were essential. My favorite was the one they did with the Masters. Tiger Woods with the Masters. I had that one on the last generation of console, and that was the most beautiful video game I've ever purchased in my life.
I'm pretty sure each and every one of our college experience revolves around Tiger Woods golf.
Oh.
Like, I mean, me and my buddies used to get together and play it literally from like 8:00 at night Friday to 8:00 at night Sunday.
It'd be like whole houses. Like you go to so and so's apartment, be like, oh, there's 4 motherfuckers live there, and they play Tiger Woods for at least 11 hours a day.
Absolutely,
You know?
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I miss that.
I miss that too. I don't think we'll ever do that again.
No, not with 2 kids, you ain't.
Well, you could do it, but you could do it. You could do it over the like PlayStation Network, like and that's fun too. I mean, that's key. That's cool.
Absolutely.
All right, Sunday we're getting together about this. I've got a few other thoughts on bets for the Masters, and my first one, I'll come out with my main one. This is the one I feel most confident about, and I don't mean this to be a dig on Tiger Woods, but I got even money plus 100 on Tiger doesn't make the cut on DraftKings. And I took that. And I don't think it's going to be because, he has a poor score in the first round. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a physical breakdown.
You know what? I couldn't agree more with you. Now, do I think that he won't make the cut? That's a little iffy because all the videos and all the things that I'm hearing is that he's striping and playing. But you're right. His health is a concern. Not so much with the swing, but there isn't a flat surface on Augusta. It's all either straight uphill or straight downhill. To have something like a surgically repaired leg to do that for, 4 days, that's a lot. Another thing that I'm worried about is that if he sprays his driver, which Tiger, he might be the GOAT, but he still hits an errant tee shot, and he hits it into that pine straw at Augusta, and his adrenaline's pumping, he wants to feel like he's 25 again. Instead of taking a Viagra, he's just going to wail at this ball, and if that leg slips, he is shit out of luck and jolly well fucked.
I think he's gonna hurt himself with effort and exertion. I really do.
To think that his adrenaline isn't going to be pumping for 4 days is ridiculous to think.
I have a similar thought and leads me to a different bet, but similar thought process is the endurance piece all 4 days on not so fresh legs. Tiger Woods round 1 leader plus 4,500. So he just has to lead the first round. So maybe that adrenaline piece being his first event, it's the Masters, it's juiced up, comes out just playing crazy good, leads after 1, and then just fizzles because of the tired leg. Endurance piece hasn't done it. Maybe the initial adrenaline of round 1 wears off and he kind of cruises. But round 1 winner, Tiger Woods plus 4,500 I took.
Your thought process is correct. The only thing that I would think is that if his adrenaline's pumping, like we all know that it is going to be, one or two things are going to happen. One, he's going to start off shitty and start playing complacent, going for middle of the greens and finish with like a 1 or even par, 1 over or even par. 2, he just turns it on and he can, be towards the top of the leaderboard. Usually the first day is either a savvy veteran. Like I made the joke that if you go back in time, round 1 leader is always Charlie Hoffman. Always. Doesn't matter what year, what he's doing. He could not have his tour card. You put him at Augusta on a Thursday, he's finishing first. But he's not playing this year. So my thought process is that it's going to be a young guy, like a Sam Burns or a Joaquin Neiman, who's just young, dumb, and full of cum, and is just going to go out there hitting for every flag stick they can possibly do it, and some of them have the skill to do it.
What about
That's just my pick.
what about a Will Zalatoris? I got
You know,
Will
Will
one of my favorite
Zalatoris-
bets. One of my favorite bets. My second favorite bet after Tiger not to make the cut. Zalatoris top 10 plus 250 on
I think that's a
DraftKings.
bad bet.
Is he
Really?
the young kid with the long blonde hair?
He finished.
Yeah,
he finished second last year.
and since then, when he was after that tournament, he was ranked in the top 10 in strokes gained putting. Now he's not even ranked in the top 100. He has the yips really bad with his putter, and he cannot seem to figure it out. He's still a great ball striker,
We love.
but at
Steven.
Augusta, you need three things.
Yeah.
Okay, and I said it on the last podcast. You need greens and regulation, strokes gained putting, and scrambling ability. If you don't have putting,
That
you're there
takes
for 2
Morikawa
days.
out. That takes Morikawa out of the.
It does take Morikawa out.
I got him at plus 200. I put a unit on him at plus 200, top 10.
What is your thoughts on Sung Jae Im?
I like that.
Sung Jae Im is actually playing very, very well. He could be somebody's dark horse, and he could come out and fire a number.
I took him at a small bet, but it was pretty big odds, like plus
Why not?
4,000.
Yeah,
It was
why
like
not?
4,700 when I saw it. Yeah.
So I think it's
Even
worth
better.
a flyer on him.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I'm hammering Cam Smith top 5.
Cam Smith.
winner. Cam Smith to be in the
Dude,
final 4 round.
I got Cam Smith top 10 plus 150. I took JT top 10 plus 130. The aforementioned Morikawa plus 200. Then like I said, I got Cam Smith.
If Cam
plus
Smith's
14.
foot gets run over by a car on day one, we're screwed because all of our bets
yeah,
are
and
Cam
this is
Smith.
and
That's
this is not-
that shit only happens in NASCAR, dude.
yeah. Well, I don't know. It almost happened to Tiger. Remember when the security guard slipped and almost snapped his ankle off?
Oh my god.
At
I mean,
Augusta?
I'm of the belief. I mean, let's talk about Tiger again. I'm of the belief, and I've read all the Tiger. I mean, I'm a Tiger connoisseur, right? I'm of the belief that he hurt himself doing the rucks with trying to be an Army Ranger after his dad died. Marine, Navy SEAL, whatever. He was wanting to be Special Forces. He's going nuts with those guys out there, and they were saying that they want to say that's led to some of the most significant injuries, like with vertebrae and broken legs and things early on. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that, and he had, at the time when he was working with Hank Haney, he had one of the most vicious golf swings on tour. He contorted his right knee. He threw it so far forward that I'm sure that didn't help. Plus the military training, which, what the fuck are you doing trying to be a Marine?
But
anyway.
he was the most famous athlete on the planet.
Mhm.
He's the richest athlete on the planet, and he wanted his father's approval and love more than anything.
Well, I mean, his father trained him to be one of the most prolific golfers of all time, and I think he did.
He did that. He did that. But he wanted to be, Army guy.
I don't think his dad was laying there and he's just kind of like, yeah, you're a great golfer or anything, but you're still a pussy because you haven't killed anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You didn't
I don't
go
know. Earl
meet your
Woods
mother.
was...
You didn't go meet your mother. And like I did. The thing that'll always stand out to me about Tiger is that like he's married to like a Swedish model and has a stable home life and all, and he's like, fuck it, I want an Applebee's waitress. Like, let's do it. That's unique.
I'm
to
not
say
here
some
to
of the most
question
successful
Tiger Woods.
people are like the most depressed or have the most issues.
It's amazing. As the famous,
Right.
most richest athlete on the planet. I mean,
But also put yourself in his shoes. Okay, you're the most famous, one of the most famous people in the world. After you get done
Right.
playing 18, you're walking off 18, and every groupie in the world is saying what they're going to do to you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
play golf on the weekend, and my wife just says, "Take out the trash." I don't know about y'all.
I
So
don't know. We should maybe start going to Applebee's after we golf and see what happens.
Oh yeah, take out
Well,
the trash.
I think Applebee's in Florida and Applebee's in Louisiana is a little different.
We'll drive to Florida. It's not that far. He's got a
It ain't
jet.
that close. Yeah, you got a jet. I forgot about that.
All right, we'll do a round trip. We'll pick you guys up, head to the Florida Applebee's Panhandle, and
Firing up the jet. We're gonna spend $8,000
That's
on fuel to go to an Applebee's in Florida.
that I could have driven 10 minutes to go to, but it's a Florida one, so it's
We'll make it up with
Florida
Cam
one.
Smith
Whole
bets.
different
We're gonna make it up with
experience.
Cam Smith bets though.
That's smart. Hammer
We'll
Cam
finance
Smith.
that and hose water.
Hose water.
Did you hear our ad for hose water earlier?
No, I died when I finally
new
came
sports
in.
drink.
It's a new sports drink.
Yeah, hose water.
Tell you the
Bottled
truth,
at-
I never
bottled
got
at the
hurt when I
source.
was drinking out of a hose. So
No, it fueled my early athletic career. Hose water. I don't know. That's some Dave Romero humor. Much love to Dave Romero for coming on, dude. I'm just thrilled to death that you joined us tonight. Is there anything Masters bets related? Could you restate your bets for everybody here? Like what you as the golf expert, and I just make stupid fun bets. Like I think I told you on the call the other night. There's like two sports I take seriously when it comes to bets: NFL and UFC.
right.
Everything else, everything else is buying fireworks at the fucking fireworks stand. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I want to hear your bets for the Masters.
Well, the thing with the Masters is that it's not like any other tournament, which it's played at the same course every year, and there are certain statistics that go into there. Certain styles of play do not play well at Augusta. The bomb and gouge, like what Bryson does not play well at Augusta. You need to hit greens. You need to make putts. And when you don't hit those greens, you got to be able to get up and down. Pretty much what I said on the podcast last night was the reason that I'm going with Cam Smith is, I'll just read you off some stats. He's second in top 10 finishes, first in scoring average, fifth in greens and regulation, second in strokes gained, third in strokes gained putting, second in birdie or better conversion percentage, and seventh in putts per round. So listing off all of that, it sounds like the only stat that he lacks is scrambling, but he's a good enough wedge player to get up and down. I think if he's making putts, it might be a coast-to-coast win. It really is. The only thing that could probably hurt him is experience. I think this is his fourth Masters. 80% of winners have played Augusta either 4 times or more. So it's just about knowing the golf course, knowing where to miss, and scoring. So like I said, I chose Cameron Smith. For my round one leader, I actually just wanted to screw with my mind. I chose Rory.
Interesting.
Well,
I
yeah.
can see that, though. I mean, I can see that.
Well, Augusta is Rory's daddy. So,
He needs it, right? He's lacking it for the career Grand Slam.
for the
correct?
career Grand Slam, that's the only thing. He blew it back in 08 or 09. He blew it to Charles Schwartzel. Thanks for that, Rory. Had to go through a whole year with Charles Schwartzel as my Masters champion. It's terrible. It's almost as bad as Danny Willett. But anyway, yeah, and he just sprayed the driver all over the place. Round one, I think he has enough familiarity with the course, and he's putting well the last couple of weeks. I think he might jump out to round one. But the rest of it's going to be straight live bets. I think Tiger will make the cut. I put 5 on him to finish in the top 20.
If Tiger makes the cut, I'll buy you a beer.
Done.
At the Zurich. And if
I
Tiger,
don't know, man. That's like a $12 bet.
that's what I'm saying. Well, no, and I was about,
It's-
hey, dude, and if I'll drink a water, you'll owe me a water if Tiger
Owe
doesn't
you a
make the
water?
cut. Yeah,
You got it.
I don't drink in public.
Dasani?
Yeah, whatever
put
they
the-
have, it's probably going to be Dasani. It's a Coca-Cola. That's Coca-Cola
Yeah.
product water. Yeah,
There you go. I'll make
Not
it
hose
cold
water.
for you. Not hose water. I was
Not
about to say
hose water.
that's by the cart bin.
right.
Tell you to open your mouth and I'll spray it in there.
Supercut that. That'll be the intro next week.
Yes. I've got a beautiful intro this week. Like I said, if you've watched on Twitter, thank you. We're going to be up on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you subscribe to us on any podcast app, you can subscribe to Boot Crew Medias, which is where I hear Beers at the Turn. And I love listening to Beers at the Turn. Like I
Appreciate
said,
that.
I enjoy y'all's. I really do enjoy y'all's pod a lot. I have a lot of
Thanks,
fun
man.
listening to it. And if you want to find us on any podcast app. You can search specifically for taking the over to Billy Gunn on Apple, Spotify, whatever. It's all there. If you don't have an account with DraftKings Sportsbook in any of the eligible states, what are you waiting for? Use code BOOT and get 100 free bucks betting on UFC, $5. Just win or lose. Take that hedge. Do it. It's silly not to. Like $100 just for listening to the show tonight. If you don't have DraftKings Sportsbook yet, or 95 if you lose the bet. I don't know. T-Man, is there anything you wanted to make sure that we talked about tonight?
No, I think we're all good. I feel knowledgeable. I feel more knowledgeable now than going into this show about betting on the Masters this weekend, which was my end goal.
Betting on golf is always to me, it's one of the greatest gambling experiences. I mean, a Sunday afternoon, and you can be, if your guy's in contention, I mean, it sounds like Big Range plays live bets, so that makes sense because you're all like you can just pick it up. If you've got to do family stuff and you can't pick it up till like 2 p.m. on Sunday, you could still get involved and have stakes and have fun watching golf. And there's no greater like gambling serotonin release than your guy being in it at the end of a golf tournament on a Sunday, especially at the greatest fucking tournament of all, the Masters. So, Jacob, I'm so glad we could have you on, man. Thank you so much for your time. And you're probably exhausted talking about the Masters. I feel like you just talk about
Not
the
at
Masters
all.
on the podcast.
Not at all. Like I said, this is the second podcast today that's had me on to talk about the Masters, and tell you I could do 5 more. I don't care.
This is your Super Bowl media row.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we've got a tradition on this show, and we've got a tradition that we didn't fulfill with the earlier guests, but we'll fulfill it with you.
What's that?
I mean, how many USFL teams can you name just off the top of your head? No Google, no Alexa, no Siri. We'll help you because there is a bonus round and a championship round.
Okay.
Get my score sheet up here.
Yep, get the score sheet. How many? The USFL is coming, and we are actually the official sports wagering podcast of the USFL. Of Boot Crew Media.
Unofficial, official.
It was rumored at one point that Larry Fedora was coming on the podcast.
Beautiful.
Hit card trouble.
We avoided that. Yeah.
Problems with the wife. Mrs. Fedora was not letting
He's so handsome. When you're that handsome, you're bound to have problems.
That is true.
Wives.
We are a select few.
Yes. Big Range has that.
Yeah.
Can you name how many USFL teams can you name? There's T. How many are there?
There are 8.
There's 8. I almost said 12.
You get city, or you get the mascot, or you get
city
something
or the mascot.
in the neighborhood of the mascot. We'll give it to you.
If we
you know
think
what,
we
I'm
know,
just going to go
we know what you're
stereotypes.
trying to say, we'll take it. And look, there's no high bar. I think the leader in the clubhouse right now, I think, is 4.
4.
Yeah.
I don't know any, to be honest.
You don't know now.
Man, it's
we're
the
obligated
Saints,
to give
I
them
don't
one.
care about your shitty franchise. Okay.
New Orleans Breakers. That's one.
The New Orleans Breakers. Is there a Houston Rattlers or something?
That's close.
There's a Houston team.
Houston Gamblers.
Houston Gamblers.
We
like that team a lot too.
Houston
That's our second favorite team.
Well, yeah, and then after that, I don't know. Atlanta. I don't know. Swamp Things. I don't know.
That's it? Nope.
Sorry. Yeah, that's all I got for you, man.
That's all right.
Everyone says Atlanta, but there is no Atlanta team. It feels like there should be.
There definitely should be.
Bonus question: do you know where the games are going to be played? All the games are going to be played in one place. One city is playing all the games.
San Antonio.
Incorrect. It's Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow, how terrible is that for that league?
Absolutely fucking horrible. It's gonna be so bad. But it's within driving distance. Or T-shirt.
It's within driving distance, but if I'm driving to Birmingham,
oh no, I'm not. I'm not going. It's during like festival season. It's during a really good time to not go to a USFL game in Birmingham.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I know. Dude, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'd love to come back on if y'all ever need me.
Dude, yeah. Say good night to all the beautiful people listening.
Good night, beautiful people listening.
We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks, man.
All right, bud. Bye.
Good evening. Bye.